Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Hard sports all plays. Network. Hard sports all plays. Network. We on top of our game. Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays.
What is going on, everyone? This is Nate the Great. I'm coming to you live from the All Sports All Plays Network, and I am here today with Trey. Trey, what's going on? How are you doing?
Oh man, it's been a busy week for me. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but it's like one of the longest weeks. But man, we got a lot of things going on in every major sports category in the universe. Major news in the NFL, what's going to happen with Patrick Mahomes for the championship game. Also, big trade in the NBA, and then MLB, big signing there with Springer. So all three big sport and hockey started up this week as well, or last week. So that's starting to ramp up. So everything's starting to come into fruition, and we're here to bring it all to you here on the All Sports All Play Network, and I can't wait to dive into it.
Man, I tell you what, we already have a comment by Will. It says, Trey, I feel like I haven't seen you. So for people out there that, want a t-shirt, how can you get it for free?
Basically, all you got to do is comment on our show. Basically, all you got to do be part of our show. Comment, say something to us. Whoever has the most comments at the end of each month, you'll be viewer of the month. And if you don't want to be part of our show and you just want to sit back and chill and eat some popcorn and drink some wine or drink your nice cold beverage of whatever alcohol beverage or tea or whatever the case, you enjoy your nice relaxing evening, you can hit up any one of your favorite analysts on the All Sports All Play Network, and we can hook you up with a t-shirt for $14.95 plus shipping and handling. Now, fellas, don't forget, Valentine's Day is coming up, so get your girl an awesome t-shirt.
Now, let's say for a second that you don't get it this month, or you just want to buy it, but you want it before the end of the month. How can you get it? How else could you get the t-shirt?
All you got to do is contact one of your analysts on one of the shows, and we can hook you up with that awesome fly t-shirt. Just contact me, Nate, or anyone, whoever you want to talk to on the All Sports All Play Network, and we'll be happy to hook you up with that.
So as we saw in the news, Philip Rivers has officially declared retirement. Now, do you think that Philip Rivers should be in the Hall of Fame? Do you think he should be first ballot? Do you think it should take him a little while, or do you think he should not be in it at all? I want to hear what your thoughts were before I give it to myself.
Is he going to be in the Hall of Fame? Of course he's going to get in the Hall of Fame just by his numbers alone. I'm sorry, Cowboys fans, but this is going to sting a little bit. If Troy Aikman can get in the Hall of Fame with those crappy numbers that he has, Philip Rivers is getting in with his. Remember, he's only behind passing yards behind Tom Brady, Brett Favre, and Drew Brees. Touchdowns as well. I mean, the guy has over 400 touchdowns to 200 picks. 64,000 yards just on numbers alone, because remember, you have to wait 5 years after you retire. So that means people like Nate, who are young and exuberant and they're going to be voting. They're going to be sports writers. They're the ones going to be voting, and they're not going to remember the Phillip Rivers of the choke artist who couldn't get it done in the AFC Championship games when he had all that talent with LaDainian Tomlinson, Gates, and all those great wide receivers that he had. Instead, they're going to remember his numbers and like, well, how come he's in, but how come he ain't in, but Troy Aikman is, and just makes no sense to me. So let's just put him in. But they don't realize that he was a choke artist in the playoffs and he never got to the Super Bowl. Now that's not the only set that would make in the Hall of Fame by playoffs. I'm not saying that because my instance, I think Tony Romo was a Hall of Famer just because of the teams he was on and everything. But Phillip Rivers had all the makings to be winning a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and he couldn't get it done. Now, mind you, it was the years of the dynasty with the New England Patriots, Pittsburgh Steelers won a couple in there, and then you got to go through Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts. So the AFC was kind of tough to get into, but he had some great teams, and he should have got in there at least to the Super Bowl once. But my personal opinion, do I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame? Heck no. But will he get in because of his numbers? Yes, because no one's going to remember his chokeness in the playoffs, and they're just going to look at his numbers, and they're going to get in with those numbers.
So I think you kind of have to, in order to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, I think you kind of have to have a mix of both the wins and the numbers. So Big Ben is an obvious yes for me because he's actually won a Super Bowl. He's actually made it to another one, unlike Phillip Rivers. He doesn't, and he also has the stats unlike Eli Manning. So I think Phillip Rivers should be Phillip Rivers should not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Maybe make it in 10 years down the road or 15 years down the road. Oh, who knows? Who knows? But I think that between the three, Eli, Big Ben, and Phillip Rivers, I think Big Ben should make it if I had to pick between one of the three.
Well, you got to remember that Big Ben actually made the 3 Super Bowls. He's won 2. You remember he made it his second year. He made it the second year, Jerome Bettis' retirement year, and he made the season-ending tackle whenever they fumbled it. Jerome Bettis fumbled it when they're fixing to score, and they defend. I forgot who to recover the fumble, but he could have easily scored, and Big Ben fell to his back, and he tripped him, and he could have scored, and that would have been the ball game. So he did Jerome Bettis retirement, and then they lost to the Green Bay Packers in 2009, and then they won with the Santonio Holmes miraculous catch in the end zone in the wild game against the Arizona Cardinals. So, yeah, he should. I think all 3 of them are getting in. It's no question about it. Me personally, I'm an eye test kind of guy, and I just think that he put up gaudy numbers, like fake numbers, like you would say. Sort of like an Aaron Rodgers, but we're getting into that a little bit. I'll talk. That's a topic for another day. Aaron Rodgers actually has a Super Bowl, but Phillip Rivers never made it to the Super Bowl with that talent, and he just choked too many games away. And me personally, I just never saw him as a Hall of Fame kind of quarterback, but he will get in just because of his numbers. Like I said, he had over 64,000 yards passing, over 400 touchdowns, and little over 200 interceptions. So that's a pretty good ratio in itself. But honestly, I wouldn't put him in just the way he throws the ball because it looks like a little shot put kind of like pushing it a little bit. It's ugly. It's a duck. I don't know, but he's a Hall of Famer just by his numbers. But in all honesty, I wouldn't put him in. But I'm not a voter, so he's getting in.
Now, between the 3, I think, on my standpoint, I think Big Ben is an obvious yes. Phillip Rivers, I don't 5-10 years down the line, sure. Eli Manning, even though they probably will because of his 2 Super Bowl rings, and look who he beat, Tom Brady. I don't think he should, but he probably will.
Eli Manning didn't win those Super Bowls. Let's just be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Their defense won those Super Bowls. He made 2 throws that he prayed to God that they would get caught. If they didn't, they would have lost that game. Well, you also got to remember, remember that big trade in the draft that year, where they switched picks, the Chargers and Giants, And would Phillip Rivers make it to win a Super Bowl with that New York Giants team? I have to say yes. I mean, he has better numbers than Eli Manning, and I mean, I think Phillip Rivers probably would have gone a little bit better than throwing. I think he would have more passing, better winning percentage than what Eli Manning had. I do believe that. I don't think Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer, but I do think that because of his last name and because he does have those 2 Super Bowl rings, he will get all 3 of them are getting in. It's no questions, ifs, ands, or buts about it.
And
I got it.
Now, if he joins in, if he's a coach or if he's a commentator, man, his trash talking is kind of funny, to be honest with you. And he doesn't cuss, and he's a great trash talker. I think that putting him on the booth and with Tony Romo and all that kind of stuff, maybe he makes it in the Hall of Fame that way.
Nate, you're missing the point. He's getting in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. He's doing it.
That would push him in. Is what I'm trying to say. That'll push him in more.
Hey, Jay. Nice to see you.
What's going on, man? The good old Phillip Rivers talk, huh?
Yes. Now we gave our two takes into this. Jay, what do you think that Phillip Rivers should be in the Hall of Fame?
I mean, if we're looking at just this past generation of quarterbacks alone, does he go down in the top 10 of the last 15 years of quarterbacks? He's scratching there. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, man. This is going to be one of those guys that he's right at the brinks. I mean, his stats, yeah, they're there. They are there. But it's just one of those things, man. He didn't win in the playoffs. And he had so many stacked teams. It's not like this guy was just carrying his team year after year. They weren't helping him out. They weren't giving him nobody. They didn't go out and build a team around him. They didn't go out and get him weapons. No, this team year after year after year after year after year had talent everywhere. And if they didn't work out, they got rid of them and they got more talent. Dating back all the way to the Damian Tomlinson teams with David Boston and all these, other guys. And, they even went on the defensive side of the ball. They had, Junior Seau and Harrison. So then you look forward, you had Antonio Gates, who is a Hall of Fame tight end. You have LaDainian Tomlinson, who is Brinks. I mean, well, he's a Hall of Fame running back. You got you got these guys, and there's so many of them that they can't all be Hall of Famers and just no championships and no playoff wins and no playoff success. They can't, you know what I mean? It can't all be that. So at what point do you say, I don't know. I just can't. I don't know. He's right there with me. It's one of those guys where I love to hate him. He was really good a lot. He was really good a lot. And he just couldn't finish, bro.
And I think that's where me and Jay agree, which I really hate agreeing with Jay, but that's what I said earlier too. But you got to remember, it's 5 years after you retire, and who's going to be voting are these young pups who didn't see the Phillip Rivers that we all saw in the playoffs. And they're just going to look at the numbers. And they're going to look at Troy Aikman and others and like, oh, wait, he had those awful numbers, and Troy Aikman's in the Hall of Fame, and Phillip Rivers. I'm just saying he's going to get in just because of his numbers. But I personally, I'm with you, Jay. I don't think he should be a Hall of Famer either, but he is going to get in because of his numbers. Because remember, he's only behind Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Brett Favre, all in passing yards.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'm saying. If they just look at his numbers from 5, because people are going to forget the eye test and they're going to forget everything. They're just going to look at
So
that's
they
what they
won't
do. Is go
start
back.
voting until 5 years after, right?
Yeah, they won't. Yep.
You know what though, Trey? The guys that are in the league right now are going to get that yardage quicker. How long was Phillip in the league? 17, 8, no, 19?
17.
17.
Same number.
Oh, 3.
The same number of years that he played is the number on his jersey.
Okay, 17 years. If Mahomes plays 17 years at the rate that he's passing,
Oh God. 100,000 yards.
Oh gosh.
if Deshaun Watson keeps throwing at the rate that he's throwing at for 17 years,
Yeah, but I get what you're saying, but you're talking 12 years from now, and Philip Rivers will already be inducted to the Hall of Fame with those.
no. So what I was gonna say was, you add 5 more years of what these guys are already doing to their stats, and they're gonna be scratching those numbers. So I just don't. I'm hoping, Trey, that he doesn't.
I am too, brother. I'm with you, but I just think I've seen other lesser talented quarterbacks get in, and he's going to be one of them.
True, but but you know what? It's also a devil's advocate too, because the talent pool right now versus what the brink quarterbacks had to vote against at the end of their eligibility is not going to be the same, because they're going to. I mean, Phillip Rivers he's going to have a talent pool to go up against.
Yeah.
I mean, what the next first 5s are Phillip, Drew, Eli's
could be year before.
Yeah, Eli retired last year. Ben Roethlisberger is probably gonna go.
He already said Ben Roethlisberger says he's playing another year.
Yeah, he's playing another year.
So maybe he goes next year
after that.
You know what I mean? Like,
I get what you're saying. I'm with you, but I just think he's gonna get in. I don't know why, and I don't know why. I don't nothing wrong against Phillip Rivers. I just don't think he was a great quarterback. I think he was a choke artist. I think a lot of those stats are misleading because he was behind. He had to throw the ball a lot more, and people don't realize that. And we're already seeing that. So we're already looking at the numbers and like, oh, he had 64,000 yards, and they're gonna forget about all the stuff. That's what I'm saying. And I don't even think Eli Manning should get in for that matter. I really don't.
Oh no, Eli has to be in.
Why does Eli Manning? Please tell me why.
Oh gosh,
one name, Brady.
What? Oh, he didn't win those games. Let's just be honest. He threw 2 lucky passes. His defense
has 2 Super Bowl wins against Brady.
Oh, good God!
Name another quarterback that has 2 Super Bowl wins against Brady.
You're right. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I personally don't think he's in, because if you take whatever.
So if Nick Foles wins another Super Bowl against Tom Brady, do you think
he has won?
Yeah, he has one, but do you think if they win a second one, it's my point.
So look, this no. And listen, this is my thing about this. It's not so much because Eli had a great career. We can't argue that.
What?
We can't argue that. He had a good career.
I can.
He had a good career. God. He was on a bad team.
119 to 119. That's just that's all I have to say about it.
What?
He was 119 to 119. He was even.
But he was on a bad team.
Oh, good God.
We don't agree
on Tony Romo. So was Tony Romo. Is he not a Hall of Famer?
Tony Romo was on a what?
Is Tony Romo a Hall of Famer?
No. Wait, you said Tony Romo was on a bad team?
He was on bad teams all of his career. He made this.
Okay. Then invent a new word for the Giants team.
The Giant dude, that Giants defense was stacked with Michael Strahan and others. Good God.
Yeah.
He had Mario Manningham.
Defense.
He had a great running back in Tiki Barber. Oh my! Oh, Dallas had a good defense. When? When?
And we can go through. Hey.
Back in the 90s.
The Giants also had OBJ.
OBJ, that was at the end.
Yeah, but he didn't win a Super Bowl with OBJ.
Yeah,
Manningham. He had Tiki Barber.
Hey, who got that pass?
Tyreek. What's his freaking name?
Google it.
Tyreek. What's his name?
Google it.
I know his freaking name. It's right on the tip of my tongue.
He had one play his whole career. One play his whole career.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But see, if you take those 2 Super Bowl, that's why I'm saying I don't even think Troy Aikman should be in the Hall of Fame if you want to go that far. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think Eli Manning should be in. That's why I don't think Phillip Rivers should be in, because these guys, I just don't. Phillip Rivers has a better case than all of them, besides the Super Bowl that got lucky with Eli Manning because of those 2 lucky throws. What is this freaking
outside of Super
Two
Bowls?
Super Bowls. And you say Phillip Rivers has a much better chance?
with his numbers? Yes, I'm saying that he had better numbers than Eli Manning. Yes, by far.
Agreed.
That's what I'm saying.
But hey, playoff wins.
But isn't Hall of Fame? They're not just looking at playoffs, looking at regular season. That's basically what they're going to be looking at. That's what I'm just saying. I agree with you, but I just think that he's going to get in. I
don't think Phillip Rivers should be a first ballot. I think.
Oh heck no.
I think
either is
if you
Eli
go down
Manning.
10, 15 years, maybe. Yeah, I think
Either is Eli Manning.
Same. I agree.
Can we all agree that the Hall of Fame is kind of a joke, and the best Hall of Fame is the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame? At least they have to actually earn it to be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Basketball is a joke. Basketball is a joke.
What, basketball?
Basketball Hall of Fame. It's basketball. It's not just NBA. It's basketball. There's no NBA Hall of Fame. It's basketball Hall of Fame. So you can be good in college, you're getting in the Hall of Fame. It's a joke. Everyone gets in the NBA in the basketball. NFL is starting to get there. They're starting to let a lot of people in who shouldn't be in. Let's just be honest with ourselves. And Major League Baseball, at least you have to get 65% of the vote to get in, where you actually have to earn it. That is the best way to do it. So yeah, Jason Barber, 5th all-time in yards, 5th all-time in TDs. Isn't a Hall of Famer. That's what I'm saying. Yes, his numbers are great.
Get it. We get it.
It's not that. That's what I'm saying. People are going to look at that. Writers are going to look, because they're going to forget Phillip Rivers, and they're going to say, "Oh, he went against Peyton Manning. Oh, he went against Tom Brady. Oh, he went against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who won 2 Super Bowls. He played in a bad era." I'm just saying.
And that's the thing, man. What you're going to sit here and not include in that conversation every single time that they go up against and defend Phillip Rivers is the people that he played with, bro. You got to include. He had an offensive line for like 8 to 10 years straight that was like you couldn't get past it. He had what was their fullback's name? He had a Hall of Fame fullback for like 10 years. What was old boy's name? I forget his name. He used to wear the little freaking sun visor. Oh, man. They had a Hall of Fame fullback for about 10 years. They had a Hall of Fame running back. They had a Hall of Fame tight end. I'm surprised they didn't have a few Hall of Fame receivers the way that freaking team was built. They went out. Phillip Rivers was one of the most coddled quarterbacks in out of any of the franchises. He was one of the most coddled quarterbacks out of all these franchises. You have Aaron Rodgers, you have Tom Brady. Well, I'm going to remind this Aaron Rodgers out of there because he's coddled in a weird way. They don't go out and get him no weapons at all. But they take care of him. They give him a heck of money. But they have they coddled Brady. They coddled Phillip Rivers. They coddled, like, you know what I'm saying? And Phillip Rivers, bro, I don't know what it is. He was like the Don of the AFC. He could lose. He could throw 30 interceptions in a game. They did not care. He was never in a hot seat.
Because he didn't play in a major market like in New York or LA. Remember, it was San Diego. It's the same thing with the San Antonio Spurs. They play in a small market and they get no criticism anywhere, and they always think of the great. And because they're not, but I guarantee if they would have switched spots, like if they didn't switch spots in the draft, Phillip Rivers got so much credit, and Eli Manning would have gotten none.
He wouldn't even made it 17 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah,
You know who he reminds me of that's still in the league, that's having the same type of career?
And Jason,
Matt Ryan
just said he played with Lorenzo Neal.
That's who it was.
Lorenzo Neal, another Hall of Famer. But no, he reminds me of Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan looked up stats.
Yeah, but Matt Ryan's not getting in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry.
No, but either should if Matt Ryan Matt Ryan's been to the playoffs how many times? He has 1 Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, he has 1 Super Bowl appearance, and then
If he gets the same, if he gets similar stats to Phillip, he got to be in over Phillip.
Well, I'm
But
going
I
to
don't
touch
think
back.
neither one of them should be in.
I'm going to touch back on something you say. What did you say? They coddled Rivers. Am I right?
Yes.
That's why they're gonna get him in the Hall of Fame.
And they're coddling Matt Ryan the same way, if you ask me. They go out and get Matt Ryan weapons. They go out and that's how I look at Phillip, man. He was just a coddled quarterback. He had plenty of weapons around him. He had great teams, great defenses. They put him in prime positions. What else do you want?
I agree. I feel like we're being a dead horse. We're agreeing on the same thing, but the only difference is you don't think the writers are going to vote him in. I say the writers are going to vote him in. That's the only thing I agree with.
And I don't disagree with what you say there. I just hope they don't.
That's me and you were saying the exact same thing,
Yep.
but I just believe that he will.
Yep. No, but most of that was
Okay.
for Jason.
That's a good question. I think this dude should get in the Hall of Fame. Matthew Stafford.
That's another dude. That's the younger Phillip Rivers.
Matthew Stafford's more injury prone. Matthew Stafford really never showed up in the playoffs. Matthew Stafford never won a playoff game. I don't know.
He's
I
been
don't
on
know.
the Detroit Lions, though, who had Kenny
It doesn't
Galladay.
matter.
Hey,
It's
but
still,
this is the thing. You can't say that, Nate. You can't say that. You can't do it because that's the same freaking thing we have for Phillip, and y'all don't want to hear that.
I agree with you. I'm just telling
No, not you, Trey. Not you.
Oh,
And
I'm saying-
Megatron, that's true.
Because that's the same thing me and Trey are sitting over here saying about Phillip, and then we flip over to Matt, and you're like, oh, he had a bad team. No, you can't do that. We can't do that. They had meaningless yards, both of them.
Matt Ryan had, dude. I'm just gonna say this
You
right
said
now.
Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, Matt Stafford. But I'm going back to Matt Ryan. If you I'm just gonna throw a name because I think Tony Romo got a bad deal. I think if Tony Romo was on the Atlanta Falcons with what Matt Ryan had on the offensive side and the defense that he had, Tony Romo would have won a Super Bowl with that team. I'm just saying, Tony Romo got a bad shake and he's getting hell for whatever he did in Dallas. But you gotta remember, Tony Romo had no defense whatsoever in Dallas.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna agree with you to the extent I'm not gonna say they're gonna win a Super Bowl with that team, but he would have sure been there a lot more. He would have consistently been in that NFC Championship game every single year, pushing them Super Bowls and have way more Super Bowl appearances. I mean, Dez Bryant was great, bro. But he was a dropper. He was a dropper.
Mm-hmm.
You put him
I
with
agree.
you put Julio Jones, Roddy
Mhm.
White. You put these dudes. You know what I'm
Ridley.
saying? Like, oh man, these dudes are
That's
coddled.
what I'm saying.
Matthew
They are.
Stafford's another one.
They are.
I
agree.
mean, and granted, I'll give you guys this though. I feel for Matthew Stafford more than I feel for Matt Ryan or Phillip Rivers.
I do too.
Matthew Stafford overcommitted to a team that had a Hall of Famer and a legend that just quit right again. You know what I'm saying? So,
But
if Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford would have stayed together and Calvin wouldn't went out in his prime like that, we don't know what could have amounted from that.
you just said he's committed to a team. Is that really a bad thing?
No,
What?
it's not. But at some point when you're the player, okay, there's a certain loyalty aspect. Yes, Matt Ryan or Matthew Stafford showed his loyalty, but when the Lions don't go out and get you help or try to even get you anything, and then you've been playing with the same organization for 13, 14 years and they haven't done anything, then it's time for you to get on your ass and get out of here. I'm just saying, because you've done everything. You stayed loyal for this. You signed extensions. You signed pay cuts. You did everything to help make this team a winner. But the ownership is not helping you out in any stretch. And that's when the loyalty starts fading. That's when you start that's when you're a professional athlete, that's when you have the right to say, all right, you're not helping me. I'll try to help you in every stretch. And then I need to get my ass in a Super Bowl winning contending team. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
Nate.
mean,
So to go
at the
on,
end of the day,
I'm
at
sorry.
the end of the
you're
day, we picked them three most oh no, I was just saying at the end of the day, we out of those three, those are just the three most meaningless stat quarterbacks to me that over our decade. Period.
I agree.
Yeah.
breaking.
This game. I wanted to break this game
This
down.
game. Double overtime.
First game with Big Three. Pull up the box score if you have it. Do you have that?
The box. Oh, with all the players and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Do you have it at all?
Not right now. I'll
Okay.
pull up in a second.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, no. Did you watch this? Did you happen to catch any of this game, Trey? Or the
Yes,
highlights?
yep, I watched it.
Yep. Oh my goodness. From start to finish. First of all, it was an amazing game. Amazing game. What was your take on the net side of the ball?
Like I've said over and over and over and over, these three are not going to work together. I know it's one game. It's one game. You're not going to win all of them. I get that. It's the first game they were playing together. But if you watch the last 2 minutes of that game, and this is going to be the same thing all year, the first possession, James Harden, dribble. 10 seconds, drive, try to make a play. Nothing happens. Next time down the court, Kyrie's my turn. Dribble. Same freaking thing goes on one. There's no – these two – Kyrie and Harden do not know how to be on a team. Kyrie basically, he won a chip with LeBron. But then he didn't want to be second fiddle. He wanted to leave. Then he went to Boston and said, I'm one-on-one kind of a player. And we saw what he did with Boston. We saw what Boston's doing without Kyrie, for one. And for two, Kyrie just, you don't know what you're going to get from him week in and week out. The only player, the big three that know how to play on a superstar loaded team is Kevin Durant and move without the ball. If you watch Kyrie and James Harden, they do not cut without the ball. They don't play defense to save their freaking lives. I'm just being honest with you. And what do you expect when James Harden or when Steve Nash is your head coach and Mike D'Antoni is your assistant coach who don't believe in any defense whatsoever? You're going to have to win games just like this, and you're not going to win in the playoffs. I'm just telling you, it's not. At the end of the year, they're going to keep these big three together. But at the end of the year, you have to get rid of James Harden or Kyrie Irving, one of the two, because I think one of them will work with Kevin Durant, but not both of them. I'm telling you, they're the exact same player. They give away way too much for James Harden, who doesn't do anything, who's a choke artist in the playoffs. That's my take on it. Now Jay's going to disagree with me, and I'm going to school him after he says it.
Because you already know I am. Listen. You're right. The last 2 minutes of that game was a lot of ISO work.
It's going to be like that.
But they don't have a lot of chemistry yet. And what you did see was the big three sitting in a semicircle together on the sideline, like, yo, let's get this stuff together. Like, what can we do? How are you moving? Why didn't you do this? Well, I needed to do this. All right. We saw that. We saw them picking it apart like me and you saw it. We saw they felt it. Okay. But what I will tell you is this. James Harden's been there for maybe 5 more games than Kyrie, 4 more games. So he was a little bit more familiar with the offense. And what we seen was James Harden running the point guard position more than Kyrie was during that game a lot. And the one thing that is different about Kyrie's game versus James Harden is, and I think this is something that people get on Kyrie about, and I don't think they really watch Kyrie play basketball. And they don't really watch the teams that he's on and how the ball gets facilitated when Kyrie's running the offense. Kyrie's not a one pass and shot offense facilitator. Kyrie Irving will cross court pass to be able to get the defense to shift to get the ball back to the other side to the open man that he wanted the ball to. So, and James Harden that you'll see and that you pinpointed in the final 2 minutes, he's more of an ISO. I'm going to go off the dribble. I'm going to hope someone steps up and commits to me for some help defense, and I'm going to hit that guy. And what I mean by that is James Harden is going to have 11 to 12 assists a game. Period. There's no other way around it. Okay? And that's because he makes one pass decisions. You know, when I get this, I have to shoot this. I'm wide open. But I think in the long run, once this team has been together more and Kyrie gets the understanding of this offense a little bit more, with James Harden posted up out on the 3-point line somewhere in the corner or something like that on the wing, and Kevin Durant doing whatever the heck he wants to do on the court, Joe Harris is going to be a big part of this team too and their success. But with them moving around and doing the things they do, we don't want James Harden to be cutting and stuff. We want Joe Harris cutting. We want Kevin Durant cutting. Let James Harden sit out and take these catch and shoot threes, kind of like Clay would do in a sense. So that's what I'm seeing from this. I'm seeing yesterday, down in the 2 minutes, they went to ISO mode because they didn't know no better. This is the first game together.
But you're making my point that those three do not mesh well together because of their style of offense. So basically, you're telling me take James Harden out of the offense and play 4-on-5. That's basically what you're telling me, right?
No. I didn't say that. What I'm saying is
because once he passes. Yeah, but he passes. James Harden ain't a great catch and shoot. James Harden shoots better when he goes in between the legs, boom, 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 behind the back, trying to show off. Step back three. That's it. He's not a great
nasty. He's a nasty shot.
But the catch and shoot, it's not him. He has to have the ball in his hand. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He can't. He's not a Steph Curry or Klay Thompson. I'm telling you that right now,
bro. When he had Chris Paul and when he had Russ, when he gets the freaking ball off a kick out, it is wraps. It is wraps.
No.
Okay, so just to give you guys the stats for that game, Kyrie Irving scored had 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 37 points for 48 minutes. Kevin Durant had 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 38 points, and 50 minutes. And then James Harden had 10 rebounds, 12 assists, and 21 points per 50.
Didn't Kevin Durant have like 4 blocks?
He had something like that.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. That's why I love Kevin Durant. That's why, because he went to Golden State and he knows how to move without the ball. He evolved his game into like, okay, Steph and Clay are doing this. How could I make myself a better basketball player to help this team win? And he did that on the defensive end. James Harden sure as hell ain't going to do that. James Harden takes defense off, be honest with you. Kyrie Irving, yeah, he can steal a ball here and there, but he's not a great one-on-one defender. Let's just be honest. He's not. He's not stopping anybody one-on-one. Steph cooked him the grill.
He's above average.
Well, okay. Oh, okay. I'm glad we're paying a guy $140 million to be above average. Okay, whatever.
He's top 3 finisher at the rim in the league, period.
Oh, okay, but the defensive end, he's not. He sucks. Let's just be honest.
That's one side of the ball. Dude,
that's what I'm trying to.
We got Giannis and Ben Simmons that can't shoot a jump shot to save their life.
That's a good point. James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook.
Hell,
when they had their big 3 and they choked.
No. There's no way.
Well, they didn't choke. Let's just be honest. They were a young team who overthrived and shouldn't have been in the NBA Finals.
They overachieved and
they shouldn't have beat that Spurs team. The Spurs team gave it away.
Agreed. I agree with you on that. Right? No, but this is nowhere near that team. That team was like Trey alluded to right now. That team overachieved that year. They were something vicious. They were just the chemistry that year was just something vicious. And Kyrie Irving is way more mature than that Russell Westbrook.
Oh, good God.
Way. And I ain't talking about humanistically. I'm talking about on the basketball court.
No, he's not.
You don't think he's more mature than the Russell that year?
Kyrie Irving today is more mature than Russell Westbrook was back then.
On the basketball court?
No way. No way.
You go look at that final series. Go watch that tonight.
Look what Kyrie did to Boston when he was in Boston. He tore that team apart.
I didn't say. Listen, I'm not talking about personality. I'm talking about on the basketball court.
I'm talking about pro basketball too. He didn't make his team better. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
How did he tear them apart?
They quit on the season. And when the year after he left, they were in the freaking conference championship again without a superstar. Now Tatum's a superstar. He's going to be a stud in this league.
Okay, so that was personality clashes. I'm talking about Russell Westbrook shot them out of that series in that first year that they were together. That year they went to the finals or Western Conference Finals. He shot them out of that series literally.
And Kyrie doesn't shoot people out. He does that all the time. He thinks he's a closer, and he the last 5 minutes of the game, he shoots and misses a lot, and lets teams back in the game.
No,
yes.
I'm not fighting the fact that he makes mistakes. I'm saying that on the 3 comparison, yeah, you got a James Harden, who is more mature on the court than he was back then.
Oh,
You got
good.
Kevin Durant, which is a beast. And I think the Kyrie is way more mature than Russell was on that team, period.
The only
Especially
player
that
the only mature player on that Nets team is Kevin Durant.
I think you're
So let me explain.
really
Let me
taking
just
some
ask something. Let me
Kyrie
just ask something. Kyrie not wanting to step out for a few weeks and doesn't give an explanation why is more
Jay's not.
important for that team.
Well, yeah,
What?
but Jay's not talking. He's talking about on the court. He's talking about on the
Yeah,
court.
and
style.
since you mentioned that, let me say this.
Oh, good God! I'm gonna go
I-
get a drink of water. You go ramble.
All right, you go ahead because this is gonna be a rant. No, but let me say this, man. And I was talking to this the other day with somebody too, and we had a little bit of a 30-second get up last time, but I think people need to also understand as well that what we feel don't matter, man. And Kyrie's whole thing that was going on this last little gap was him not liking what was going on in the world.
Then
And
what?
him feeling, hold on, him feeling as if him going and shutting up and playing basketball was doing more damage than him trying to make a change. Now this is my thought on this. We condemn people every day. We rip people every day. We drag people's names through dirt every day for not using their platforms in certain occasions. Right? The media dogs people every day for not using, and people dog them for not using the platforms that they have to to make their stance or to say what they believe or to follow the community that they back, right? So now we have a guy that doesn't know how because he's said it many times. I don't know how to go about making the change that I want to make in America. I don't know how to do it, but I know that what I'm doing isn't helping. So him making this chance, because we and you still, Trey, Nate, the rest of the world, we still don't know what he did during that time. We just found out he bought a house for George Floyd's parents. However you feel about that subject, that's cool. He's a guy that went out and bought somebody else's parents that lost their life a house. That's cool. I don't know what else he did during that time. And if it was true what he said, that he was doing it because he didn't know how to handle what was going on and he didn't know what to do with the stage that he had, but he felt as if shutting up and playing basketball was not helping, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Because I don't know how I would use my time to make a stance or make a change or make a wave. I really don't. Me and you can sit back and say, yeah, this is what I would do, or there's a better way, but we don't know, bro. We don't.
But okay, so I get what Kyrie Irving's doing. I'm all for it. I'm not saying anything like that. But then again, you also signed a contract to be with your team. You have, when you're on a team on a continent during season, you have hours you practice and then you play games. That is hours of work. Now, after you're done with that, you can go and you can take conference calls. You can go you could have bought him a house while you're still playing. That's the point I'm trying to get. If me and you would just take time off from work, 3 weeks off to hire because we don't know what to do with the world. You think our employers will hire us back? That's the problem we have.
Okay.
Yeah,
you know what? That draws me into something totally different, because the NBA and especially the NFL lately, for the last 5 to 10 years, have been pushing hard on mental health. Pushing hard on it.
Yeah, you're right. And I think, and I hope everything's all right. I hope Kyrie took care of it, whatever the case may be. But what I'm saying is, how during, like, you have even if the season's going on, you still have time to use. And Adam Silver's doing a great job. He's the only commissioner in the league that's letting your players use their platform to, like, the name, the justice on the back of their jerseys, the All Black Lives Matter on the court, the letting them speak their mind freely without any repercussions, unlike the NFL and everything like that. Right. So he has they've been using their platform perfectly. And then the media session, they keep talking about it. I know Green does for the Warriors. Stephen Curry does. LeBron James Durant's his advocate about it.
Sure.
Kevin Durant is too. Kyrie Irving, if he ever wants, and that's another thing. Kyrie Irving doesn't talk to the freaking media when they have questions. That's another issue we have. That's what I'm trying to get at. You're paid to do
I
these
mean, look at
things.
Marshawn Lynch, man. Look at Ricky Williams. There's been people like this, yo.
I
There's
get
been
that.
people- I think we just are blowing it up, just like we did with Ricky Williams. And after a while, we got over it.
Yeah, but with the difference between those is they didn't quit on their team. That's the thing.
He
They
quit
didn't
on.
quit on their.
You want to say he quit on Boston? I mean, I'm not.
No,
gonna
he
argue.
quit on the Nets. He left them.
Oh no, he
left
didn't.
them.
No, he didn't. See, that's where I was going with this. When you said, "Okay, I understand," you know,
I
and I hope
totally get
everything.
where you're coming from, but he just vanished, and nobody knew where he went, what he did, what all this kind of stuff.
That's BS.
He should have let the Nets know that he was going to take some personal time off, and we don't know that.
That's BS because they said they were upset because a player contacted them instead of him. Do you know what player that was? I do.
But same stuff with the KD.
Correct. So he called, and I'm gonna and let's take it like this, Trey. I'm not saying this is what happened, but I know that Kyrie in the past has gone through mental health issues. Okay, so let's say that it was a mental breakdown because of everything that was going on, and the team didn't want to let that out.
I agree with
after
that.
they found out.
I agree.
And,
I
and
understand.
KD notified him. Now, I will say their PR dude needs to be fired because they to the media, oh well, we didn't even hear from Kyrie. We heard it from KD. To me, as a team, you guys don't need to know that. That can be internal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I picture loyalty a totally different way. Me and you were sitting here having a conversation and don't even know the facts of the guy. And you know what I'm saying? And we know enough about it to have a conversation when the team, by now, they know what's up.
Yeah, but yes, he does have mental illness, and I wish him if that was the case, then yes, you need to take time off to handle that. Like Kevin loved it, and he does need to do that. But at the same time, when pictures surface that you're out partying without a mask on and partying, then that's where people start drawing the line. That's what I think.
I mean, at his family party, man.
It wasn't just a family party. He was at a strip club, dude. Come on. Come on, dude. No, it was no family party.
Let's get down.
One of them might have been his sister's birthday or brother's birthday, whatever.
That was, and then they went out to the strip club afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're,
But,
that's the problem people are having with.
And again, I'm not defending the man like that. All I'm saying is we don't know, and I know he's had health issues in the past. I know that he did say that he was stuck on how to make a difference and how to make a change. Didn't know what to do. Maybe that was driving him crazy. We don't know. But I'm glad he's back. You know, I'm glad that we could sit here and we have this discussion because that game yesterday was awesome. Colin Sexton.
Okay, so Colin, let me pull up the stats real quick. Colin Sexton scored more points in that game than all three of that big three.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, 42 points.
But not all three of them together. He's talking about he outscored and all of them.
Oh, each individually. No, hey, bro. Yes.
Sexton's a bad boy.
Man. 20-something straight? 20-something straight?
Hey,
and I don't know, at the end, man, Kyrie, there was no better defense he could have done at the end.
Oh,
he tightened up on him. He tightened up. You got to admit, at the end of the game. But, dude, that sidestep three at the top of the key, Kyrie was in his grill.
Yeah, it was also a foul, but we're not going to talk about that either.
Hey, but that's the point. He sidestepped and hit that mug with Kyrie in his grill and got fouled.
I just want to point the record out straight going back to Kyrie Irving. I love Kyrie Irving. I loved him at Duke. I love the way he plays back. I do. I love his handles. I love everything. But the dude, if he does have, he just needs to get everything back before coming and play back. That's my thing. I love Kyrie Irving. If he's making, I hope he does all that. There's a time and a place for that. But you also signed $1 million contract, and I hope because mental illness is a real thing. I've seen people close who dealt with that in my own life. Actually, right now, someone I know or people I know are going through it. So, yeah, I know it's a real thing. And if that's the case, then he does need to step away from basketball, and he needs to focus on that. That's what I'm trying to say, and then come back once he's all clear.
And I agree. And it might be something that he's embarrassed to let the world know he deals with.
You're right.
And that's
Right.
something you got to understand as well. And that's the team's job to get it right. But back to what Adam was saying, Adam, bro,
What do you say?
right with you. Why should they? You know, like I pointed out, the Ricky Williams thing, that was an anxiety issue for Ricky Williams. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things in this league, bro. Yes, we all sign contracts. Some of that stuff is non-negotiable because the NFL has a contract with you know, the media company. So you want to, you know, so hey.
And I just want to say something about the James Harden thing too. Can these athletes please stop signing 5 to 6 million, 5 to 6 year contracts? Please, for the love of God, can we please just do a 1 and 2 year?
Yeah.
Because
I agree with that, especially if they're like in their 30s.
well, I agree with that all the time because you don't know what the ownership or anything's going to do in those 4 or 5 years. Like the first year might be great, and like, oh, I want to stay here forever. But then next year you don't get players, and then the next year you don't. You know what I mean? Then they're not happy. Then anybody you sign this long term. It's like signing a contract for your cell phone bill. At first you like it because you like the phone, but then you get your bill and you don't like it. And you want to get out of the contract.
And also, what I'm trying to say about the whole 30s thing, you might sign like a 10-year, 6 to 10-year contract, and when you're like 38, 39, that's fine and all dandy. But man, after 10 additional years after that, playing after you're 48, you're probably not gonna play until you're 48.
So whose fault is that?
The players for signing up.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
that's the point of the conversation. It's players who are signing all these contract deals.
No,
That's why.
you
That's why.
guys ain't being fair. You guys ain't being fair. I'm playing basketball, and you come and put a 10-year contract for over 100 some odd million. I'm gonna take it. You signing me, and then
But
you
how
gonna
much? Okay, but how many years is that? Like how many? Like $25 million a year. Why not do a 1 or 2 year contract like Kevin Durant and LeBron James did? Get your money 1 year that way, and then when you find a happy place like LeBron did in LA and in Cleveland, he knew he wanted to stay there for that shorter period of time. You have a plan in place. That's what I'm trying to say. But don't sign these contracts if you're not willing to look at all the just because you sign all this money. That's what I'm saying. I'm taking ownership on the owners too. The owners shouldn't be throwing that kind of money out there. They should be like, you know what I mean? But anyway, let's get back to this. Then I don't like the trade for the Nets. And here's not just because of them three. They had to trade away their whole. I liked the team before the James Harden. I had this team going to the finals with the team. But then they had to get rid of LeVert. They had to get Dinwiddie. They had to get rid of. They have no bench. And Nate's stat, the stats that Nate was showing, I was just minutes. Kevin Durant playing over 50 minutes after an Achilles injury. Your big three is going to have to play over 40 minutes a game en route to a championship, and they can't play defense. That's why I have a bigger issue with the move. James Harden is not the defender, and you're going to have to outscore these, and that's not going to win you games. You're going to have to outscore these people 135 points. You are. It's the only way out.
I seriously see this team being a first and second round exit. I'm just
saying.
saying.
Heck no.
Second
you guys aren't being fair to these guys, man. You guys are picking on them.
I'm not picking on anyone. Actually, I just don't like James Harden. I'll just be honest with you. I don't like James Harden. I never liked James Harden. I think he's I don't think he's a great basketball player. I really don't. He's not a team player. Yeah, he gets a triple-double, but the way he plays basketball is so boring. It's not real basketball. The referees don't know how to call fouls because he flops on every freaking every drive to the basket. He flops. They never in a contract, but he goes, hit my chin, hit my beard. That's a foul. I'm tired.
Why didn't Houston make it last year?
Because James Harden's a choke artist.
Wow. Okay, this ain't going nowhere.
It isn't. Yeah. James Harden has not shown up in elimination games. He hasn't.
So what's Russell Westbrook's problem?
Russell Westbrook's problem? He can't shoot. He shoots them out of games. Yes.
So James Harden. I don't know, man.
Before Westbrook got to Houston, James Harden was known for what? Choking in elimination games. San Antonio
Spurs. I do want to bring up one thing though.
What?
Portland made it all the way to the semifinals the year before. Okay, the point that I'm trying to bring up is who do they play against the first round?
I mean, look,
Houston.
At the end of the day, they got two NBA champions on the team. I do agree, Trey. I had the team in the finals before the James Harden stuff.
And I think it made them worse. I really do. It's super.
I mean, how can we say
Oh.
that? Karis LeVert, luckily, thank God this trade went down. That might have saved his life. He said they would have never found it
Right.
if he wouldn't have had the trade go down. And now he's not even playing. Jared Allen, yeah, of course. Losing him is huge, bro. A huge part of that freaking team, man. Excuse my friend. But because that is real passion right there. That was a huge part of that team, man. And look at him thriving now over in Cleveland. He looks like he's supposed to be starting every game. He's supposed to be out there, and he's supposed to be an anchor of somebody's squad, not treated like a side piece, And then at the end of the day, though, they kept the right pieces. They kept still out there. Not Ingles. I always want to call him Ingles.
Harris.
Yeah. And they shed some salary in a couple of ways. Next year they'll be able to add something, but this year still, man, I really think at the end of all this, they're gonna come out in the East, and star power versus star power is what the NBA Finals turns out to be sometimes, and that's definitely what this one's gonna be. It's gonna be either the Lakers, or the Lakers.
So question: who guards Joel Embiid?
In Brooklyn?
Yeah, but Brooklyn and Philly meet in the playoffs. Who guards Joel Embiid?
DeAndre Jordan?
And he was a non-factor last night. Joel Embiid will kill DeAndre Jordan, dude. Are you killing me?
But are you? But listen,
That's what I'm saying. They don't have defense.
DeAndre Jordan's going to play better defense on Joel Embiid than who's going to guard Kyrie, who's going to guard Kevin Durant, who's going to guard James Harden.
No one can guard. No one can guard Kevin Durant. Let's just be honest. No one.
Who's going to guard James Harden?
Ben Simmons.
Okay, then who's going to guard Kyrie?
Harris.
Who?
Those two will switch off. Tabo Harris, man. Shoot.
Yeah.
Whoa. You got Tobias Harris guarding Kyrie Irving?
Hey, I'm not saying that.
45 points and foul him out.
I'm just throwing names out there. At least they can play some defense. James Harden and Kyrie Irving. Just saying.
Tobias Harris has a better chance of guarding James Harden.
Oh, good God.
He's too fast. Kyrie's too fast for him.
They don't have anyone to guard the paint. That's the problem. And you're just going to drive by.
They really messed up with that losing Jared Allen.
Exactly. Yeah. God.
That's
next slide, Nate.
That's the only.
Yeah, next slide. All right. Now we all have our biggest, we all have our surprises. We all have our biggest downfalls. Now going Jay, then Trey, and then myself. What team actually surprised you? This season so far, and I know it's only been a few weeks, but Jay, I'm gonna go with you first.
Biggest surprise, I'm gonna say Toronto. I'm not surprised about Phoenix being up top. I said it, and when the trade went down, and you guys were yelling at me, that Phoenix was gonna be towards the top. But I say Toronto, man. Toronto went from fighting with Miami last year to the bottom of the barrel.
That's actually the next slide, but okay.
The bottom of the barrel. That's my biggest surprise this year is Toronto. It's surprising to see them that bad. I really thought they'd be doing a lot more. I mean, not a lot more or nothing, just more consistent. I just didn't expect this. It's just surprising.
Okay, so I think what I'm trying to say is,
no, don't worry about it. I got you. I got you.
I get where you're going, Jay.
Yeah.
He's surprised that they suck. Let's just be honest. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. No, correct. I'm not.
In less words, that's basically what he's saying.
Yeah. So basically, John, to answer your question, in a good way. Bad, we'll talk about that later.
What about you, Trey? What's your biggest surprise in the league so far?
Y'all might laugh at me at this, and just because they're losing right now, but honestly, the way Golden State Warriors are playing, I didn't have them making the playoffs. I thought they're going to be a bottom feeder this year because I didn't think they had any 3-point shooting. They still don't have any great shooters, but man, when they play defense, that team is a legit defending team. Oubre, even though he's a streaky shooter. I don't know what the heck he's doing. Like he'll miss 20 straight threes and then he'll make like 5 in a row and make you win the game. And then Wiseman, he's only 19 years old. He's only played, let's just be honest, he came straight out of high school. He didn't play in college. He played 3 games at Memphis. That dude's going to be a stud in the league, especially if he gets that outside jump shot going perfectly. Then Steph Curry doing it, carrying, and he had a couple of bad games here and there, but he's the only shooter, and people know that, and he's still getting 30 points a game. That dude's a stud. I'm just telling you. Huh?
You say he's only a shooter?
No, I said he's the only shooter on that team. Consistently
pretty much
a scorer on that team. I mean, Wiggins, he's a great defender, but man, the way they defend and the way they're never out of games, like they were down 21 points to the Clippers, they're down 19 to the Lakers. They never give up, and they always play hard, and it's just fun to watch. They're number 6 seed right now. I know it's still way too early, but the way they're playing, it's a whole lot better than what we saw last year. And I think and come trade deadline, don't be surprised if Green's on the move for another big piece. Just saying that's my biggest surprise, actually.
So my biggest surprise, and y'all might laugh at me at this, simply because they actually made the playoffs last year, but I didn't have them making it this year. They probably will. I mean, off their seedings, they're sitting at 4th right now in the Eastern Conference. I'm going to go with Pacers. I did not expect, with the roster that they have, the coaching staff, and how they've been like a one and done team. I did not expect them to be like a 4th seed and all this kind of stuff. They actually beat the Rockets, not the Rockets, the Celtics, on December 27th, 108-107. They're actually like an 8-6 team right now, standing out there. So that's my surprise pick. That's who I thought was the biggest surprise.
So question for you, Nate. Do you think they're about to flip upside down since they just lost Oladipo, essentially, and then TJ Warren is hurt still?
Yeah, I could see them doing that. That trade kind of took them off that, so I can see them doing that. But I really.
All right, next slide.
Hold on. Now what is the biggest? Since Jay, I went with you last time. Trey, what is your biggest disappointment for an NBA team so far?
Nate. You know I love you, right, man? You know you're my boy. You my boy. I love you.
Just say it. I'm probably gonna go with this team too.
Denver. You're wasting a great year on Joker. You really are. Your guy could be an MVP caliber, but your team is not performing. Murray's showing up. I don't know why they let Grant go to save my life. I don't understand that whatsoever. That's going to hurt them, and it's already showing it. But the way they handle, like the way they play in the play, I know it's a bubble, and we all know Coach Cam, the best debater in the world, he doesn't believe in the bubble because it's like rec league. But the way they played in the bubble, not only in the bubble, but in last year's playoff, Murray was a stud. That was a great 1-2 combo with Joker and Murray, but now Joker's the only one showing up for that team. I don't know what's going on. I guess it's some in the water in the Denver area or COVID. I don't know, but the way they're playing, I had them in the East or Western Conference Finals. They're making me look like they're not even going to make the playoffs this year.
You know what? Actually, I am not going to go with Denver. Even though they might be a surprise out there to some people, I kind of did expect that. As soon as they let Jeremy Grant go. I will say one thing, though, to that whole Jeremy Grant thing. It's more of they wanted to sign him to another deal, but he just decided to go somewhere else. It's more.
I'm locking the door. I'm not letting him out the door. No, I don't care. I'm doing what the Clippers did to DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, they should have never let his contract expire. He should have
exactly.
He should have been restructured, and that's what happens when you try to squeeze the last bit of toothpaste out the tube.
Yep.
Period.
Yeah, and I said this before the season started. The Denver's biggest problem when they faced up against the Lakers last year, besides fatigue, was defense. Nikola Jokic is a lousy defender. As great as he's scoring up the number of points that he does and all this kind of stuff, he's not very good at defending. So I kind of expected that coming from this Denver Nuggets team. But now my biggest surprise, I gotta go Miami. They
Wait,
just,
I said your surprise was Indiana.
I mean, biggest downfall. I mean,
He's taking it.
in a negative way.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's doing opposite what you did.
They just made the finals last year, and now they're 4. Now I'm gonna double check that record, but last I checked, they were 4-7. No, they're 6-7 now. They just won 2. Okay, I'll give them a little credit, but they're 4. They did all that. Now I get Tyler Hero is hurt, but they won. They should be dominant this year. Miami is not really, though.
I didn't expect them to be dominant. They weren't dominant last year. They just had a good run in the playoffs. Honestly. Philadelphia and Boston were dominant way all year last year compared to Miami. Miami had a good run in the playoffs. But my biggest disappointment this year, man, is the Wizards. Pairing Washington, pairing Bill and Westbrook together, I at least thought they would scrape 7th and 8th and they would be winning. For them to start, they start off 0-5, Trey? Type of performance, those type of results, are nowhere near what I expected from those two. That's super. Look, by now you probably already know. To me, once you pair superstars, there's some sort of expectation level that is just unacceptable. When you look at a team like Denver, for example, Jamal Murray's not a superstar to me. He performed like a superstar in that bubble, but he's not a superstar. Now he'll turn it up again once we get later in the season, and we get closer to the playoff time. He plays a little bit better, a little bit, but they don't have another superstar. They don't, and one of their main problems is that they're trying to force Porter to be one. He ain't. He's not a superstar. Now, coming out of college, we expected something different from him, but he's clearly showed us these last couple of years he's not that. Now, is his ceiling still up there? Yeah, he could still be it, but he's not that right now. And so I think they need to kind of remove some of that pressure from him and go get some help from him. Jeremiah Grant, losing that is going to put more pressure on Porter. Way more pressure on Porter. So that, again, going back to Washington, I just have a certain amount of expectation level when you pair certain superstars together. Like everybody thought the James Harden, Chris Paul thing was too old. Like Chris Paul was not going to – I expect a certain amount of level. You know what I mean? And it's happened. When you put Chris Paul and Booker, I said it a few weeks before the season started, Trey, when we were debating. I said it. I expect Chris Paul and Booker to be at a certain level just because of the superstar tangible power. Yeah. So that's why I figured, that's them.
The biggest I'm going to answer this comment real quick. Biggest disappointment is Miami and Denver. We all knew Dallas was going to be horrible, so no surprise there.
What? No,
yes.
What?
Dallas actually was not a surprise for me.
Dallas is going through COVID issues and Porzingis being injured. Once Porzingis gets in the game with Luka playing the MVP caliber level that we all thought he was, that team's going to be done. Rick Carl will turn that team around. Trust me.
And he's played a couple of games already.
Hey, let's look back at this moment, Trey. Let's look back at this moment in 2 weeks once Porzingis has like 9 games under his belt. Man, they're about to be rolling.
Especially with Rick Carl as their head coach and Luka being them. I actually have Dallas making a deep run in the playoffs. I won't be surprised in the Western Conference Finals this year.
Luka is a bad mama jamma.
He's only 21.
Mm-hmm. Let me just see something real quick. Okay, so that's all the topics that there are for today.
Yeah.
Any final comments before we give this a close?
Not too much, man, but again, for everybody out there making comments, watching, we thank you guys for tuning in with us every Thursday. We got Jock Talk coming again on Tuesday. Again, if you guys have anything y'all want to hear us talk about, you can always send us a quick message and we'll throw it in rotation as well.
I want to apologize to a female that I might have offended if she watched our show. I don't know. Am I there? Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The referee, I said Sarah Walsh. Yeah, I'm Chalk Talk. It's Sarah Thomas. Sorry. I misspoke. I had Walsh on my mind for some odd reason. I don't know what, but I do apologize to you. But we saw for all you viewers out there, thank you for watching. We just remember the guy to, I don't know how it's on your screen, but the guy to my left, right, left, whatever. Nate has a big night Saturday night. These guys a big debate. So everyone, please come and support Nate as he battles Chris Brown Saturday night at 7 Central. I do believe that's right.
Yes, 7 Central. 7 Central.
So hope you do good, Nate. Congratulations on your win.
Make sure to watch Christopher Brown lose to me in the debate on Saturday.
Ooh, Nate wins one round and he's all trash talk. I like it. Keep going, Nate.
He's on the right show.
Anyway, that's all I had. You actually stole what I was about to
say.
And yeah, Sunday there's another debate between Will and Mess Around. So make sure to stay tuned in for Saturday and for Sunday. So that's all I had. This is Jay, Trey, and myself, Nate the Great, signing out for now.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. Like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.